So, let's talk about delves. Delves in the new expansion coming out in World of Warcraft. Now, a quick little side note, as you guys can see down on the bottom left is currently my logo and not my face. Now, for most of you, that is a blessing in disguise. However, for the very fine few of you that like to see me in every single video, unfortunately, if you didn't watch yesterday's video, my webcam decided halfway through to die. I am waiting on a new one to get delivered. So, enough of that shenanigans, let's get on with delves. So, before we watch the video that Blizzard has released, there's quite a lot of controversy in regards to delves and what they are. So a delve is essentially either a solo or a group piece of content. Now, yes, that is correct. You could either do it solo or you can do it with a group. Now, one thing that we've seen with Blizzard and World of Warcraft is for many, many years they have tried to make content solo or group. However, they've always done it that when you do it in a group, you actually get more rewards than doing it solo. So it makes no sense to do anything solo. You may as well do everything in a group because you're going to get double the amount of loot. However, currently with delves, we don't see that being the thing. Now, of course, this is an alpha, so this could change. This is Blizzard. It could change the day before the release. However, in the moment, this is how we stand. So delves are between 1 and 5 players and role agnostic mini dungeon. Now, these take between 10 to 15 minutes on average to complete. You can do delves from level 70 all the way up to level 80, and then at level 80 you get the god delves that we all want to be doing. Now, when we do delves, we are going to be accompanied by Bran Bronzebeard, who will be our companion in Season 1. Now, that is a pretty cool thing in my opinion, the fact that they're already saying this is season-based, so that gives me the vibe that this is going to be content worthy of doing throughout the expansion, and not just something that is just going to be a complete waste of time unless you're an achievement collector. So that's quite a nice first part. So Bran and other companions can be leveled through delves. As you level them up to a maximum level of level 20, they will learn new abilities as they level. Once you're level 20, it doesn't stop there because you can then grind and start finding ultimates and combat curious things that kind of give them trinkets. Now, we already know, if you haven't watched my other video, that we are getting a legendary trinket for these companions. Now, that is pretty cool in my opinion, because it means that not only are these going to be pretty cool to do, and it's going to be content that you can do and recycle, you can also upgrade your champions, which kind of means that they're going to be some pretty hard delves to do, which excites me in very, very many ways. There are a total of 12 delves scattered across Khaz-Algar being the new map, new zone, new area, exploring various underground themes. In Season 1, a 13th delve will be unlocked, and this delve focuses on a luetud of the Nerubian Zevzik. Let's go with that. There are Zevzik-related achievements on the alpha, and those are Nemesis and the Spine, which is a unique back or cloak appearance cosmetic type thing. And if we have a look at this one, it's kind of like a backpack type thing. Gives me kind of vibes from Shadowlands kind of type thing. Anyways, delves have dynamic objectives that can change daily. That is right, daily, not weekly, not monthly, not seasonally, daily, with the aim of a delve always offering you different adventures. You will be able to visit this same delve multiple times and have different adventures each time. This is really nice that this has been added. I really hope that what they mean by can change daily is that only one delve changes every day and the rest of them just drop the same stuff every day. It would be nice to see that maybe 3 or 4 of them change, or like they rotate or something, and every time they change they give you new rewards. That is kind of a nice thing. Now, chests at the end can give you core progression rewards, upgrade track items, delve currencies, and of course, we're going to be added into a new mount. The mount can be cosmetics and it can be customized as well. If you haven't seen the mount, you will know which mount we're talking about. Now, unfortunately, the wowhead thing does not load it very well, but this is the mount that we are talking about here. Items from delves will scale based on the difficulty level of the delve and will cap out at an equivalent of heroic raid or mythic +5 in the post Dragonflight season 4 numbers. So if it's post Dragonflight season 4, and we know from yesterday's video that season 5, a mythic 5 is going to be dropping like the same as a +15 or 12, sorry. I mean, that is pretty decent gear. Like, that is mid-tier decent gear. That isn't rubbish gear that it's going to be dropping. So this means delves at this current state, if this doesn't change, delves are going to be a pretty important thing to be making sure that you're doing frequently. The Great Vault will also have a new track exclusive to delves. That is pretty OP as well. Many items like customizable hats and warband gear will be able to drop from delves, but if you're unlucky and don't get them from the drops, then don't you worry. They have already added in bad luck protection. They will give you resonant crystals and you can then go and buy the items from the vendor. Now, that being said, this means that we can only buy the customizable items from the vendor, which is a nice little change because most of the time when Blizzard tries to add these types of systems, they end up adding something whereby you can just farm the delve and just go and buy the gear. So it doesn't really matter how many, like, it doesn't matter. So like if you take Diablo, for example, you can't really buy the gear apart from rolling the gear. So you've got to do the dungeon over and over and over and over again until you get the gear that you want. In WoW, it's always been that they would have a currency that you could go and buy the gear with. So you could essentially do that one piece of content until you farm enough pieces of gear. So for example, if it takes you 10 delves to get 2 pieces of gear from the vendor, then technically your RNG is 10 delves. It doesn't really matter that much. So this is a nice change in my opinion, because it's going to make delves not only RNG based in terms of the gear. I mean, the gear is pretty OP, that's for sure. But it's also going to make delves a continuously relevant piece of content to be doing. And the fact that they only take 10 to 15 minutes means that, and they go into the Great Vault as well, which means that we could literally log in on an alt, do X amount of delves to get your weekly vault, plus potentially get some catch-up gear if it's your alt. I mean, that is pretty OP. For main characters, right at the beginning, this is going to be super OP to get your character geared as much as you can. However, your alts, I could see people literally logging in to do delves to unlock the vault and also get decent heroic level gear and then start doing Mythic Plus. Now, that being said, those are the core points for delves, but I want to watch this video with you guys and get your take on it, and I'll pause it as we go if there's anything relevant. So let's get into it. Okay, key point there is the word puzzle. So it's not just going to be run to the boss, kill it, and leave. There is going to be some type of mechanic inside the delve. We don't know what yet, but there will be some level of content inside the delve. That is a pretty cool and unique piece of information to have. So if we can level with delves, I wonder if delves is going to be the fastest way to level. If it takes 10 to 15 minutes to complete a delve, your average dungeon is going to take you, what, 20 minutes? maybe less if you've got a full 5-man pre-made. But if solo, you could do it in 10 to 15 minutes. I mean, queue times for a DPS, as we know, are disgusting. I mean, delves could be the way to level. They also said PvP. He said PvP, but the PvP is not in the highlighted stuff. This all just kind of goes back to PvE. So I wonder if PvP wise, does that mean he drops Conqueror pieces of gear? That would be interesting. And I wonder what the change between PvE and PvP would be. That's quite cool. So essentially you can play, it doesn't matter your role, so it's not gonna, if you queue up for it, because it will also be in the dungeon queue finder, but it's just gonna ask for 5 players. It's not gonna ask for like 3 DPS, 1 healer, 1 tank. It doesn't matter what spec you are, you can just queue. That's quite nice. Okay, dude. Okay, has anybody played Guild Wars 2? If you have, leave a comment below. Is this, or is this not, the same type of endgame content that Guild Wars 2 has with fractals, whereby you go in and the very first thing it tells you, what difficulty level do you want? And I guarantee you the next thing he's about to say is that depending on the tier will depend on the difficulty and also variations to the dungeon.
Who could be customized to complement your playstyle. The legendary dwarven historian Bran Bronzebeard, renowned explorer and veteran of the Second War, will be the first to join you. By choosing Bran's specialization, he could be molded into a healer or damage dealer, allowing him to fill the role you or your group need. As you progress, Bran levels up too, gaining skills that expand his arsenal and enhance his effectiveness. If you want to focus on damage output yourself, Healer Bran is happy to throw a potion on the ground that heals allies. Or, with a damage-focused Bran, you could activate his Gryphonen's battle harness, which lets him bombard enemies with lightning hammers from atop his loyal Griffin. Once you're max level and Bran is of a high enough rank, you'll begin earning curios. Equip Bran by choosing a combat curio and a utility curio to give him trinket-like effects that empower your party. In addition, Bran can help you find lost supplies and delves that can help you in your runs. There will be 12 different delves to explore at launch, and you can expect to find some in each of the new zones. In the Isle of Dorne, you venture into the Earthcrawl Mines, a dig site that has been taken over by Nerubians. In Hallowfall, you must carefully explore the Sinkhole, the very bottom of the zone, where all the water gathers and Kobus lurk and lure in their victims. In the Ringing Deep's Dread Pit, you'll spelunk into a forward base of operations that the Nerubians are using to lay assault on the machine speakers. And more adventures await in Azj-Kahet to discover for yourself. Upon the start of Season 1, a 13th delve will become unlockable. Focusing on a single boss encounter, players must now brave the enemy's lair and defeat the greatest threat yet, Zevzik. Delves are designed with replay in mind.
So, what we're saying is there's going to be 12 delves when we start. That isn't going to have a final boss. There's going to be like some level of progression, right, to prove that we've completed the delve. maybe an objective or maybe a puzzle. But the 13th delve will be a boss that you have to kill. That is pretty cool. I like that. I like the fact that it's just not going to be a boss that you've got to kill. 9 times out of 10, if it's just a boss, you can skip half the trash and just kill the boss. That's quite unique. I like the way that they're kind of playing these at the moment. Okay, that's cool. So it's going to be themed, basically.
Adventures. Completing delves will reward you with a variety of valuable loot. Get to the treasure room at the end of a delve, and you'll find chests that will provide you with guaranteed core progression rewards, upgrade track currencies, delve currency, and more, including a unique reward. The Delver's dirigible mount can only be earned through delves. It's a cosmetically customizable flying machine that allows you to mix and match various modules to create your own dynamic flight masterpiece. As you complete more of these adventures and journey into Azeroth's core, you'll earn new customization options, with more choices added each season. Core progression items earned scale all the way up into the endgame. They are awarded at item levels relative to the difficulty of the delve, similar to how Mythic Plus dungeons and raids work, with items capping out at power levels comparable to Heroic raids or Mythic Plus 5 keys. Even the Great Vault itself is being updated to include reward choices for completing delves, offering players a chance to earn powerful items on a weekly basis. Delve currency can be used to buy collectibles and entry-level Warbound gear. You can also find the collectibles and Warbound gear in chests directly, as well as transmogs, pets, toys, recipes, and reagents. Keep an eye out for new hat cosmetics that can drop, and embrace your inner kobold or fungus. Are you ready to dive into delves? Experience a more flexible, more customizable World of Warcraft in the...
I have to say, it feels like Blizzard are essentially modernizing World of Warcraft. WoW is finally catching up with 2024. They are really making an effort, in my opinion, with the War Within to really bring it out into the modern era of gaming with these new techniques, the way that they're doing things. I'm really liking the position of the game right now. But as always, guys, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on delves, and I'll catch you all in the next one.